What's up, everybody? This is Edward back on another video. Hope you all are having, a really good day. I know these are very challenging times, but that's no excuse to keep shit moving to the best you can. Trust me, we all have our problems. Trust me, we all have our problems. But what I wanted to talk to you all today is a little bit of tough love. You know, one thing, the manosphere is at the end of the day about empowering black men. So, as a mechanism of doing that, you have to tell the truth where the truth is. And one of the observations that I've had in the black manosphere, and what's up, God word saves, is straight up. A lot of black men, and this is true for men in general, but we're talking about black men, right? A lot of black men like playing Russian roulette with their dick. I mean, can we be honest about that? There are a lot of dudes that are quote unquote, they have been exposed to red pill information. They understand red pill information. They understand, which let's keep it real. Red pill information is not anti-woman information. Red pill information is just giving you the ability, it's removing the smoke or the fog away from an environment or situation and lets you really know what you're doing. So if you choose to roll a dice, you know you're rolling the dice. You can't be ignorant. And that's one thing you don't really hear get said a lot, or the way that it does get said, it gets framed from a perspective of dudes that are just simps and shit like that. But taking all that, putting all that off the table, we either talk about dudes that are ignorant or dudes that are just straight simping. But take that off the table. At the end of the day, a lot of y'all know what the fuck y'all doing. Y'all really do. You know if you fucking with a bitch that's ugly. You know if you fucking with a chick that you just want to get your dick wet. You know if you nutting in a chick, um, or you pull out or you're not pulling out. You know what the fuck you're doing. You know when the chick is feeling you, and she's at risk for trying to trap you with a baby. I mean, dude, at the end of the day, you don't need red pill. It's fucking social media. You got social media. You got raw stuff. You got shit that the fuckery is out there. Like if you don't have to be red pill in order to be aware of the fuckery. You just don't. And it's not ignorance of the law is not an excuse, because there's certain laws that you just can't be ignorant of. There's certain things, or we'll say laws of the game, that at the end of the day you just have made a decision. And we always jump on black women about complaining about decisions that they make, but that's also true. That's also true for black men. That's actually more true for black men because we're more logical in nature. You know the risk that you're making fucking with a bitch. You know the risk that you're making nothing in the bitch. You know the risk. You have an understanding that you're wasting your time. You know when you're in the friend zone. You know the statistical probability of getting out of it. I mean, you have to have your head so far up in your ass that you can't even you're literally coughing out of your own mouth in order to not see that. And this is why, you know, I understand from a big numbers perspective, the situation when it comes to um child support and all of that. I mean, I actually just did go look up. Yeah, it is true that they're fucking with child support. I'll be curious to see if like Angry Man does a video on that, because those videos always do very well for him about this child support shit that they're blocking dudes from getting child support. You can be delinquent on your taxes. You can be a lot of things, but if you back on that child support, and that doesn't even fuck with the majority of black men, by the way. That's just a reputation that black men have, thanks to black women throwing us under the bus. But real talk, I just saw that. And that's fucked up. That really is fucked up because a lot of the dude because that bitch ain't gonna do nothing but waste the money anyway. But anyway, my point is, and this ain't even really so much for Gen Xers. I'm talking specifically millennials right now. Um, Motherfuckers know. You know the problems that come along with dealing with a chick. And for those, and again, I'm not trying to be an a-hole about it, but let's be honest. A lot of black men are willing because a part of being thirsty, black men are thirsty, or the most thirstiest dudes out here. That's just real talk. As a group, we gotta kind of hold that L as a group. That is it, so I don't want to hear the summon all bullshit. But part of being thirsty is you take unnecessary risks. It is a it is a direct line between the fact that the majority of what usually fucks black men up is their dick, as far as what shit gets them in trouble, as far as what they're exposed to, as far as what their Achilles heel is, or a direct correlation between that and between the thirstiness that black men have. You can look at, I would argue, 80% of the problems that black men deal with, and they all have something to do with sex to a certain extent. Finances, whatever. They have either something to do with getting it, the aftermath of it, or the pursuit of it. That's true. That's true, Omega Dreads. But at the end of the day, you can minimize risk. I'm trying to clear my throat, but you can minimize risk. There's easy situations out there that allows you to minimize risk, that allow you to stay away from, stop pursuing females that you know are not good for you or whatever. And this is not about what this, because all women, as one of the things Mr. Research said is true, all women go left. And as soon as you stop believing that, is usually when you about to get fucked. And that includes women in your own family. But this is just something I want folks to keep in mind, because there's a lot of conversations where black people have a tendency to want to complain about shit after the fact, but then they'll go do the same shit that got them in trouble the first time. And that's how you know folks are really not trying to work through an issue. They just want a shoulder to cry on. And let's be real here. I'm not here for dudes for that, and I'm not here for females for that. A lot of what black people go through and complain about is really based on childishness. And here's the thing. You may hear, like, some women may be listening to this and saying, "Oh, you go, girl. You go, dude. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to say. Check these dudes." No, sometimes dudes need to make a decision and not deal with a certain group of women and say a certain group of women are toxic, or a certain group of women I don't need to be fucking with. That's part of what SYSBM is about too. See, a lot of women will listen to this before I just said that, and they'll just assume I'm just beating up on the dudes. There's a difference between empowering somebody with tough love and then just beating up on them. And again, this is why I always say the dudes you need to expand your options, because when it comes to who you fucking, when it comes to casual sex, you don't owe loyalty to no females when it comes to casual sex. Like there is no I'm more pro black because I'm only fucking black women, because I'm only sexually attracted to black women. That somehow makes me pro black than a dude that'll fuck any woman that strikes his fancy but is investing more in a black community. The majority of black people actually believe believe the former of what I just said versus the latter, and that's a big reason why the people that you see that are quote unquote have some of the biggest mouthpieces really ain't doing shit for the quote unquote the community, because that's not the metric by which they're judged. So, well, at the end of the day, man, a lot of dude like it's true. A lot of, I mean, it just is what it is. We know what's going on. This is, well, yeah, Omega Dreads, but like I said, it's a lot of dudes that they do the same stupid shit over and over. Like when I'm looking at Steven Jackson, look, Steven Jackson's got money, so it was easier for him to fall into some of those traps because he got money, he got women just coming at him, and most dudes are not in that situation. But even still, like, five baby moms. Like 5? Like, look, if you like somebody like real talk, especially with a dude that's aware enough to actually speak on it, right? And this is not me trying to beat him up, but and it's the same thing with females. Females say niggas ain't shit. Shout out to Jada Black. Niggas ain't shit when the nigga you fucking with don't want to fuck with you back. Um, but it's nobody takes responsibility for their own shit. And this is a community thing. Now, and dudes are more likely to do it than women because they have to, because the society doesn't allow them to fall in this like sense of it ain't your fault. It's always your fault. So you're used to owning it, if for nothing else, to not wind up in that situation. But the reality of the situation is, even though I'm black men, they don't take responsibility for their shit. They really don't. And I'm not talking about. I'm not. It's not me beating up on dudes with kids. That's not what. That's not what this is about. This is not even about that. I'm talking about just in general. Just in because in general, this is dudes that are broke. They don't take risk. They want to. They want to sit here. It's and this is that like you're red pill online, but in blue pill you're not. And I was thinking, because I was thinking about when I was on DJ Kuda, and just seeing like it's like, dude, like man, like dudes, it's like when they get in front of females, they really, it's it, they really, it's like they change. It's like they have this is what I need to be to get pussy. This is where I need to be everywhere else, and that is like two completely different people. And no other man does that, but black men do that more as a group than any other group of men. They take it's like patriarchy or patriarchal minded or holding to your own only matters until it's time to get pussy. You're supposed to risk it all for that. And then dudes will wake up and then they expect this female to not do what's in her best interest because some sense of being pro black or whatever. And they it's not even about that. You can't be surprised. It's like being surprised with racism today. You can't be surprised. You cannot be surprised. That's my point. That is what gets on my nerves. If you're like north of 25 and you're like surprised at some of the shit these women do, then nigga, you need it's a you problem. You got some simpery that you haven't exercised. And look, we all do it. But at the end of the day, there's calculated risk. And then there's, I got to get my dick wet. And I'm going to do whatever. Let me tell you something. People think I'm joking when I say this. If I was only regulated to fuck fat bitches, nigga, I would be an incel. Voluntarily. Because I have standards. And do all, but all you really need is one. That's what a lot of people don't think about too. All you need is one. Like dudes always make a I'm getting all these bitches. Getting all. First of all, like people make it like it's normal for dudes. Oh, I'm just fucking all these bitches. If I ain't got a body count that's out of this world, then I'm not doing it right. No, all you fucking need is one. All you need is one. It really is that simple. Now some dudes are, and it's just when you hear some of these dudes talk, and that's not how some of these dudes operate. It's like, man, this shit is out here, and you don't need to be in a manosphere to know this shit. This shit is on the ground. This is why when I hear some of these dudes talk about, well, my personal experience. What do you talk about your personal experience? Like where are you from? I'm from Chicago. Okay, so how the fuck do you not know what the fuck I'm talking about? Like, how is it your personal? Like, how is it on the ground? You're not seeing some of this fuck shit. Like, how is it that you're surprised today? Oh, that's some social media shit. You really believe that shit? Is that what we're really out here saying? That this shit, like at this point, that this is just some social media shit. And what happens is you have dudes that are in denial to like what the situation is. They're in denial to like what the situation is, and it's like they got to get bit before they realize it's a problem. But here's the problem: Sometimes you can get such a big bite taken out of your ass that you don't recover. Like a lot of, here's the thing, man. A lot of black men, I'm gonna tell you how serious it is, and this is for the dudes that don't have kids. I'm gonna have a message for the dudes that do have kids too. For the dudes that don't have kids, you need to understand that if you have a kid in a wrong situation, especially out in the aftermath of this coronavirus, when you look at how the economy is being reorganized, you need to look at having a kid like a death sentence. You need to look at having a kid like a bankruptcy. Steven Jackson was telling you, you have the kid by the wrong chick, or a chick that wants to create problems. And that doesn't mean you necessarily always gotta get married. There's dudes that I can't I'm not trying to talk about their situation, but I know plenty of dudes where not only do they gotta feed a black woman, by the way, that's cooperative, but they have a black woman that she, at least she knows she's in the best situation compared to her fucking friends. And that's reflective as to the leeway she gives that dude. She looks at her friends and this like in their late 30s or 40s or 40 or something like that, and she realizes I could have easily been them, and I ain't them, because the dude that she with is making shit happen, really loves his child, and this shit is on autopilot. And as long as she don't do no fuck shit and be cooperative, she's good. That's kudos to the dude that picked her too, by the way. Remember, if you're in a great situation, that's because of the decision you made. And that goes both ways. If you're in a bad situation, that's because of the decisions you made too. So if you ain't got kids, you need to look at that like a fucking bankruptcy. Like I keep saying, it's a FTD, financially transmitted disease. Don't let nobody tell you kids are a blessing. Don't let nobody tell you none of that bullshit in order to put you in a subjective mindset to be positive. Nigga, if somebody tries to get you with a ooze baby or some shit, now for dudes that have had kids, that's a declaration of war. Because a lot of times dudes try to keep the peace. You can't keep the peace. You have to you have to force the strongest negotiating position you can, because that's what the other group is gonna do. Nine times out of 10, that's true. And a lot of dudes get way too reactionary on shit. And I understand why. That's the honor code in a lot of black men. Black men are taught not to put the ass on females unless something was done to them, even if that. But you gotta go first. You have to be first, because it's not going away. That bullshit about just paying child support and charging it, yeah, you can do that, but that shouldn't be the only thing you do. Now I don't have kids, so I'm not gonna speak like I do, but I do. That is some recurring thing that I see, is dudes try to just hope that the female is just gonna get some common sense. That's not gonna happen. So you have to, at that point. So and I'm not, there's dudes that can speak on this a lot better than I can. That's got kids, but reality is, you have to look at that like war. You cannot sit there and be black men are way too reactionary to shit. We really are. That's not even got to do with women. That's just in general. We are way too reactionary. We wait for something to hit us, and then we like, oh, and it's like you don't know what to do, because you used to having somebody else deal with it. And I see, so that can't happen. I'm gonna tell you, that's one thing that black women got black men on in spades, and they shouldn't, is that reactionary shit. They are not. Black women are proactive. When it comes to shit they care about, they are proactive. And they will be proactive even before some shit bites them in the ass. Sometimes now in relationships, they're not always like that, but in other aspects they can be. Like, it is way more likely for a female to be monkey branching onto another relationship before she's exited out of one that is a dude. Yeah. And honestly, like, if you talk about Robert Smith, the billionaire, that shouldn't even be in the discussion, because he's got so much money. It's like, what do you want? Remember, kids cost about, to raise kids like for real properly, is about like 250K. So he's dropping that like it ain't nothing. You add private school and all that, so it's like, really, what are you doing? Like, really, really, at that point, you just want to create problems just because you want to create problems. And you have people that are like that. And let me be very clear here: when people change, that's enough. So this is not. So I'm not out here to judge every dude. Like you could have dealt with somebody and then they switched up on you. Like I said, all women go left, and that's why you always got to be prepared for that. You always have to. And it's just do like when at the end of the day, the biggest advice that I can give anybody is to always keep your options open. You always need to create and be in a situation where you're creating layers and what I call redundancies. So if things go bad, like for instance, I'm going through a couple of little issues, so some issues, but I have redundancies that if this happens, this happens, if this happens, I can do this. And very few things are going to break through every redundancy to the point where I got to get real creative. So don't I tell women this all the time, but I'm gonna tell dudes, stop lying to yourselves. Stop like making it like these situations like an addict where you get at I could there's this dude that I listen to, this white guy. His name is Jeffrey Combs. This dude, he's pretty much like Les Brown. This dude really has his shit together when it comes to like knowing your inner self and shit like that. Dude is on point. And one of the things he says is a lot of dude people, because he used to be an addict, but a lot of people are like addicts where they get out of a situation, like they pray to get out of a situation, and when they get out of a situation, maybe the prayer worked, they do something to put themselves in another situation because it's subconscious. Women do that, but men do that as well. It's like an addict. And he literally talked about the chemicals that you go through when it comes to cortisol, dopamine, as far as why people do that in situations. And that's that trauma bonding shit. And then what happens is dudes like dodge a bullet with like, let's say a chick said, "Oh, you pregnant? I'm pregnant," and it turns out it ain't yours, and you dodge a bullet. Then somehow you wind up getting trapped by another bitch because you didn't learn from that situation. And again, this isn't me about judging that. This is me talking about people that ain't got kids yet that will get kids over some stupid shit more than anything. Because I can't speak to every individual situation. They're gonna feel a certain type of way about their certain type of situations. Because a lot of dudes are not gonna be, some dudes will be honest. A lot of dudes will, but a lot of dudes won't. And at the end of the day, man, this is why when I see shit when motherfuckers be like, yeah, black women only or certain people only, you have to be real with yourself above anybody else. You have to be real with yourself. You have to be real with your situation. You have to be real about it. You just do. And you don't owe nobody the truth but yourself. I mean, I just, I mean, you should be telling the truth, but you get what I'm saying. So I really just wanted to leave y'all with that for right now, because there is no mercy out here for black men, and if you out here playing, nobody's going to care. I mean, let's be real about that. No, and even other black men, they may give you a kind word, but most of them ain't gonna be able to help you in your situation. And y'all need to be real about that. Y'all need to, because if you put yourself in a fucked up situation, you need to understand that you gonna have to find it in your power for the most part. You may get help here or there, but you're gonna have to find it in the power to get your own self out of the situation. So for you to be, and most black men know that, but they still do stupid shit. Most black men understand that the biggest situation they're exposed to when it comes to getting in a fucked up situation usually has to do with them depending on a female or being overly dependent on a female. Most of them understand that. Yet they still put themselves in the situation gleefully, and they really it's like what the fuck? You know what the situation is. You know how you can get fucked up in the game. And it's not about me telling you to go monk mode or anything, but it's about putting yourself in situations, doing I'm all about doing what you want to do, but doing it in such a way that minimizes risk. Like, and I'm not talking about being risk averse. It's even with clothes. If you want to buy a whole bunch of clothes, do that. But learn how to do outlet stores. Learn how to be smart about doing what you do. That's what I'm about. I'm not about telling people what to do. I'm about saying, look, if you want to do that, fine. But there's probably a smarter way of doing it than what you're doing it. Be more methodical about what you're doing. I don't sit here and tell dudes to deal with multiple options because I'm out here on a mission to get most black men to go X, Y. That's not what I am. I'm about you supplementing shit. Just like how in stocks, you don't invest in one stock unless you actually have some control in the company. Unless you're doing some real investing, you diversify. It's the same thing with women. Because if a black woman isn't fucking with you, if black women aren't fucking with you like that, they don't have to. That what happens with them is on them, and that's fine. And I'm not saying I wish negativity on them, but what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to sit here and declare your love for black? I'm pro black. No, you're supposed to do what you do. Now, when we talk about the general community, we can say, okay, from a big number macro perspective, these outcomes, these inputs leads to these outputs. So when you hear black men talking about, oh, well, you all get with a certain type of woman, that has and has never been about um black men giving a shit about who black women choose. They choose to receive the information that way because it's easier to receive it that way than to receive the truth. What it's saying is it's like a conveyor belt, and you all are putting certain inputs by the only way to really control male behavior is through sexual, either through violence or through the sexual assets in a community. And if the sexual assets are incentivizing fuckboy behavior, then fuckboy behavior is what you're gonna get. So when you then, it's kind of like taking gasoline and then putting it in water, and you put drip, 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 and then it doesn't take a lot in order for the water to be poisoned. And now you're wondering, why am I drinking this water on poison? Well, it's because you keep doing that as a group. Well, y'all just need to do okay. Well, it's not no y'all, because the reality is you can't go into any other group and then do what you're doing, and then the situation doesn't fuck up. But see, that's the only reason we even have that conversation. We have that conversation because we're talking about from a group standpoint. This is why this is. It's not because dudes just all of a sudden said fuck it. It's because, and this is why I always come back and say, just on the flip it to the females for a second. I always say, well, the reality is the niggas that you need to be asking to build and protect and provide are the niggas that that pretty much got your kids, or the niggas that you're fucking. That's who you need to talk to. Because that's because you know why? Because you know why they don't do that? They typically don't do that, or they gotta go to the law to do that because they know they can't control those dudes. Because they give dudes, certain dudes, and I've been in this lane. They'll give these men everything. Everything for nothing. And I'm for nothing. And then they try to take that for nothing and that bill, and they try to make another dude pay it. And they really think another dude is gonna pay it as if you're the only option that dude has. And as from a situation for what men have to control, if women understood that men don't have to deal with them at all, and they're left to their own devices, which by the way doesn't happen because the thirstiness of black men. Because a lot of black men, and see, here's the thing that kills me. Black men are thirsty for no reason because black men are thirsty as if black women are only men. Black women are only women men are allowed to have sex with. You don't never like some of these dudes you see jump, but some of these dudes, and because if dudes are really just fucking everybody, female wise, you wouldn't see that because it wouldn't matter, but you do. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there a little bit, 30 minutes of some information. I didn't want to make this too long. So with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.